Hi, my name is Jack, and welcome to my review on Marvel's Spider-Man. As we get closer to the release of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, I've decided to take a look back on what started it off, the Marvel, Insomniac, PlayStation, whatever you want to call it, in interpretation of the character. So sit down, relax, and hopefully enjoy my review of Marvel's Spider-Man 5 years later. The game starts off with a camera panning through a 23-year-old Peter Parker's apartment. Peter is then rudely awakened by his phone going off. It turns out that Wilson Fisk and his henchmen are attacking the city. You suit up in a very cool and stylish intro with rock music playing in the background. You go fight Wilson Fisk, capture him, and the police send him to prison. Once Fisk is arrested, you go back to the police station with Captain Watanabe, who explains that the radio towers are down all throughout New York and need to be reactivated. New York City is the open world of Marvel Spider-Man. Once you activate the towers, icons start to appear, which can be either ongoing crime, side missions, and or collectibles. As the story continues, it turns out that Martin Lee, who's been helping Aunt May at the Feast Shelter, turns out to be working with the demons and is Mr. Negative. So you go down there, you go downtown, you have a fight with Mr. Negative on train. It's very cool, and you think you've done it. You think winner, winner, chicken dinner, the city's saved, but plot twist, Doc Ock, turns out to be the bad guy. So, and was behind the prison breakout. So, gotta sweep everything up. The city turns into a war zone where Spider-Man must stop the Sinister Six so you can do what you do best and clean up the streets, stopping them and then going after Otto. You do your final suit-up scene and go after Otto, and you have your final and very emotional battle at the top of Oscorp Tower. You beat Doc Ock and head to the hospital with the anti-serum. Peter talks to Aunt May, who knew that Peter was Spider-Man all along. Surprise. You have one last conversation with Peter, knowing that it is better to save the lives of many than one. Aunt May passes away, big sad, and the screen fades to black. The game ends with an epilogue 3 months later where Mary Jane and Peter end up back together. Presentation. At the time, back in 2018, Marvel's Spider-Man was probably the best looking game that I had ever played up to that point. The presentation of the graphics are still excellent even in the remastered version, which improves on what was already there. The differences in the PS5 remaster are the updated textures, lighting, and tweaks to different character models, and maybe a bit more, such as like Peter's face. As well as, performance modes. You got Fidelity, which increases the resolution of the game but runs at 30 frames per second. Performance mode, which lowers the resolution but runs at 60 frames per second. And Performance RT, which is a middle ground option similar to regular performance, but with ray tracing elements from the Fidelity mode. But I'm not sure how much more I can elaborate on this. So, graphics good, art direction nice, all around a, AAA battery goodness, game, winner winner chicken dinner. The music, pretty good. I'm not sure what to say. The theme, I think it's called the Golden Age, and just kind of throughout, like the final boss, they have some pretty. I guess those are the two notable ones. Just kind of swinging around, just the orchestra. Oh man, I love it. It's so good. It makes you. Oh, there we go. I'll use the phrase. It makes you feel like Spider-Man. It's so good. The music, top notch. Gameplay. The gameplay of Marvel Spider-Man is what you'll be doing for the majority of the game, since it is a game, which is web swinging, and combat. The web swinging is mapped to the R2 button. As long as there's something to attach to, you could just hold R2 the whole way, not letting go. There isn't much more advanced or more technical ways of web swinging, like right and left web shooters being, their respective buttons, L or R2. Even if there aren't more technical ways of web swinging, I personally think the way it is, it's simple but effective. You can always spice it up with some mid-air tricks, doing back flips, front flips, doing the spin. That's kind of cool. In combat, the three main buttons that you will be using are square, triangle, and R1. Square is your primary attack, such as punches and kickers. Triangle is your web strike, where you can zip to an opponent to do your primary attacks. Triangle can also be used to yank enemies and their weapons once upgraded. While fighting, you can build up your focus. Focus is your special super flashy one-hit KO move with one of the many animations that play out, making you feel even more like a badass. You can also unlock different perks that can be equipped to any of your suits. For example, improve your melee attacks or get more focus from certain attacks. Different suits have different abilities set to them, Once you have unlocked the suits, you can put the suit power on any suit, creating your own preferred playstyle. When you aren't Spider-Maning around New York, you are in the lab. There are two different types of science puzzles. The one where you reroute circuits and the Skeptographs, as well as the research labs scattered around the city that Harry has set up. There's not much more I can say about them. You just pop the things into the right place and presto. In the game, you got to explore New York City's Manhattan, and in the open world, there are radio towers that need to be activated, which I previously said, which makes things show up on the map. Throughout the city, the collectibles and side activities are the bags. Bags are scattered all around the city. Inside each bag are different types of Spider-Man history, Easter eggs, and in-game lore, which may fill in some smaller blanks of Peter Parker's life up till that point in the game. Landmarks. Around stunning New York City, you can take photos of iconic landmarks and just awe at how beautiful the game is. The research stations. Harry has set up research stations all around the city. Most of the missions probably have to do with how bad the pollution in New York is, but oh well. The Black Cat stakeouts. Points are set up with cameras, and the player has to find a little black cat doll with a pre-recorded message giving Spider-Man the next clue. Taskmaster challenges. Taskmaster challenges are set up around the city by this guy called Taskmaster, who will make you do 4 different types of challenges, which are combat, bomb, stealth, and drone challenges. Pigeons are also part of the list. I don't know why, but I guess there are a lot of pigeons in New York City. But in the city, meet Howard the Pigeon Man. Why isn't he the guy saving the day? Whose pigeons who are all flown off, and you have to retrieve them. And lastly, we have the hideouts of the different factions. There are 4 different factions in the game. Sable International, Fisk, Demons, and the Prisoners. The hideouts are effectively the wave-based combat arenas in the game. All of the previously mentioned activities that you do reward you with different types of tokens depending on the activity, and they can be both used for upgrading your arsenal of gadgets and unlocking new suits. You can also play as 2 other different characters, Mary Jane and Miles Morales. These sequences of the game that have you dabble in light stealth mechanics with MJ. It starts off with you just sneaking around, but you eventually get a gadget that distracts guards as well as a taser to take the guards out. Miles, kind of similarly, he can distract guards by hacking into their electronics. Not much more to say there. Marvel's Spider-Man is an amazing superhero game that is by far the closest experience of living out your dream of being Spider-Man, and in my opinion is the best PS4 exclusive out there, and is one of my favourite games of all time. I've only played the base game, so I haven't yet played any of the City That Never Sleeps DLC yet. Anyways, I've been Jack Smith, and thank you for listening, to my Marvel Spider-Man review, and good night. Hey there. If you made it this far, you might as well consider smashing the like and subscribe button. I already did a video about why this game is special to me, so if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving that a watch. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. Bye.